You'll notice that in some of my videos, and probably in this one, that I use a video editing software whereby some of the photos and videos have a watercolour effect or a cartoon effect. It does help as regards the YouTube's rules on material being non-third party. I was reading an email I received, and the person wrote George VI as GVI, which, when recording, I read as GVI. Somebody pointed it out to me, a little bit like the royal family's TV satire, where the actor who plays Prince Harry is always referring to Edward VIII as Edward V111. I don't know if you've watched it. I'll put a link to it, but it is absolutely hilarious.
So I'm going to have to give up being a royal like Edward V111 did.
My previous video I posted last year discussed the reasons why Meghan left Prince Charles's birthday garden party early. Lady Colin Campbell's soon-to-be-released book about Meghan and Harry, entitled Meghan and Harry, The Real Story, has the story behind the garden party. Apparently, what someone attending the party saw and heard shocked them, and they talked about it later at a dinner party. A small piece of information from Lady C's book has somehow leaked out into the public domain. I won't repeat it verbatim here, but it talks about Meghan being bored and asking to leave early. I personally think there was much more going on, and I think there will be more in Lady C's book. I think, yes, Meghan was bored, and she did everything she could to show how bored she was. She also was on a power high after her very recent wedding, where she nabbed a prince and in her mind elevated herself to become the most important female in the royal family and soon to be in the world, according to her, allegedly. So let's look back at another garden party and another power trip she was on, when she was a young girl at her friend's birthday party. Again, I'll put a link to this in the description. Meghan shows here how very bored she gets very quickly. She has taken the crown from her best friend, whose birthday it was. She has demanded they all call her Your Royal Highness. She orders them around, telling them when they are allowed to have a break and for how long. She orders them to bake her 900,000 cookies and sew her a nice dress. Then she's off onto something else. At one point, the cameraman asks her if she's bored, and she says yes, she is weary. Again, a link to the video is in the description. She has shown how she drops people quickly when they are no longer any use to her. She also seems to have the same lack of staying power when it comes to doing things which are centred around someone other than herself. All her visits to the Grenville kitchen and other places, such as the dog kennels, etc., were often secrets or surprise visits. This was probably so she could float benevolently in and out again after the shortest time without people being aware of how lazy she seems to be about this type of royal work. It was said that she was mortified shortly after joining the royal family when she learned how she would have to serve the general public and attend many boring events in all weathers. Regarding Prince Charles's birthday garden party, I've heard that when Meghan was politely put in her place at different times by Prince Harry, by Camilla and by palace aides, it was then that she decided she was bored. There were many things which happened in a short space of time at Prince Charles's garden party. We remember the pushing ahead of Harry. This was indoors. And when they were gathered together in one room, with Meghan standing near Camilla, there was the cry of help from Camilla to the photographers, and Camilla being unable to stand near Meghan and her desperate attempt to get away from her. I've been looking for that video clip for hours and cannot find it, so I believe that something had happened before this for Camilla to be reacting in this way, as she is usually so good at rising above the situation and putting on a professional front. But in this video clip, she was mouthing help to the cameraman and looking back and trying to get away from Meghan. So we can only guess what had happened before that. It was said that Meghan upset people by doing the following things. correcting Harry when he was talking, mentioning Princess Diana. It was said that she had brought up Princess Diana's name and was talking about her in a way that it would be good if she was there, and things like that, things which I was told were inappropriate. Also, she was talking in a political way, and she drew attention to Camilla's clothes, allegedly. She was arguing with Camilla, so whether that was to do with something political, I don't know. Sticking her tongue out at Camilla behind her back, which was probably her response to Camilla trying to tell her how to behave. Allegedly flirting with Prince Charles. Pushing in front of Harry when walking into the next room. Drawing attention to herself when a bee stung Harry.
Which William and I draw inspiration from every day. To save an input, sorry, that bee really got me.
Walking ahead of Prince Charles and Camilla and being introduced to their guests, so the attention was off Charles on his birthday. It did look in the video as if it was arranged that Harry and Meghan walked one way and Prince Charles and Camilla walked a different way, and they were both being introduced. Both couples were being introduced to different groups of people. From what I saw, I think the damage had already been done, and I think that Charles had arranged for a car to come and pick her up. But she was in her element then when she was shaking hands and chatting to people and receiving gifts. Walking ahead of Prince Charles and Camilla and being introduced to their guests, so the attention was off Charles on his birthday. It meant that Meghan and Harry were on camera ahead of Charles and Camilla, and allegedly Meghan received a gift which was meant to be for Prince Charles. The bee stinging Harry was an example of how heartless Meghan could be. Some people have bad reactions to bee stings, and Harry, being a fair-skinned redhead, might be one of them. Either way, bee stings are unpleasant, and to have to deal with one while making a public speech where you have to keep talking, not knowing how many more times the bee will sting you. The last thing you need is for your new wife, who has not been listening to your speech but busy practicing her poses, mimicking her hero, who happens to be your beloved late mother, notices the bee and laughs when it gets you, all the while perfecting her Diana hand over giggling mouth pose. I think that Meghan caused offence from the moment she arrived at the party. She was on such a high that there must have been countless things she did which raised eyebrows. Another thing was accepting gifts. I was told that some were for her, but most were for her father-in-law, whose birthday it was. If Meghan was bored and wanting to leave, you can guarantee the gift-giving changed her mind for a while. We have seen how she will literally run to grab gifts, even walk in front of Her Majesty the Queen. At what point she was bored and wanted to go, we will probably find out when Lady C's book is out. At the point where the car is called for her and she is stopped short during her gift receiving and adulation from people congratulating her on her recent wedding, where she seems to be enjoying it, she does appear to be surprised and clueless when Harry tells her that the car is there. She is in her element, receiving attention and gifts, and I don't think she really wanted to go at that point. Her complaint about boredom was probably before all of this. At one point, before they leave, when Prince Charles has spoken closely to Harry, he seems to say something about the car having arrived. And Harry says, it's either Harry who says it, I think it's Harry that says it, because of the something about it's on camera. So I don't know if it's the cameraman saying something or if it's Harry saying something. But I'll play it to you and tell me what you think.
I can't throw cameras. I can't throw cameras. I can't throw cameras.
The look of bewilderment when Camilla kisses her goodbye, and I really think it was not how she wanted it, and the famous strutting off hanging on to Harry was almost like an up yours to the camera. She wanted to leave, but under her own terms, and also with a big fanfare and a send-off perhaps. Her face in the car afterwards was a look of total annoyance. In the meantime, we will have to guess what happened from what we know so far until Lady Colin's book is released. So, thanks for watching, and please let me know what you think in the comment section. Subscribe if you haven't already. Ding my bell for more alerts for more videos. Like if you liked the video, and share. Thank you. Bye.